All right. My essential question this week was upon what foundations are U.S. schools built? And my focused question I chose this week is our current system of education at risk? And is it the same risk as reported in the 1983 document? As I began this week, I had strong opinions of our education system, and after reading Diane Ravitch, I have been quite enlightened. The article of Forgetting the Questions is probably the best thing I have read all semester. I learned so much. I highlighted just about every other line. I thought Maxine Greene was my education hero, and now I'm afraid that this Diane Ravitch may have beat her out. So to answer my original question, I believe, yes, our current system of education is at risk. But I also believe that it needs to be. When I finished reading A Nation at Risk, my mind raced with all the ways that we are currently at risk and how we can fix all of them. However, my opinion changed after reading Forgetting the Questions. Ravitch stated, "It would be difficult to find a sustained period of time in our history when Americans felt satisfied with the achievements of their schools." Ravitch goes on to explain that schools will always fall short of their missions. But this is actually good. She stated, "But it would be wrong to do so, not only because it would encourage unwarranted complacency, but because the education problems of the present are fundamentally different from those of the past." This is how I envision our education system. Sometimes there are things we are doing better, and sometimes there are things we need to improve on. It isn't a perfect line, and there is no perfect end. In the past, the focus was pushed that everyone needed a diploma. Ravitch comments, "In recent years, policymakers have sought to equalize educational attainment, without regard of the quality of education. This is like putting people on a diet of 1,800 calories a day, without caring whether they are consuming junk food or nutritious food. Years of schooling or a diploma has been treated as an end in itself. Thus we have seen courts require school districts to present a diploma to students who could not meet the minimum state standards of literacy, as if it were the diploma itself they needed rather than the learning that the diploma is supposed to signify. When school reformers in the 19th century advocated universal education as a way of improving society, they meant a broad diffusion of knowledge and wisdom, not a broad diffusion of diplomas. Today we have almost gone too far on the other side, focusing solely on test scores and meeting strict requirements that teachers are too limited in what and how they can teach." Again, Ravitch states, "The curriculum should be designed so that every student has the fullest opportunity to develop his powers, intelligence, interest, talent, and understanding." Having our system constantly at risk means that we will continually change it as is needed. This is exactly what our education system needs. But what does that mean for us as teachers? How can we contribute to the system? How can we contribute to help the system work the best for our current time? Ravitch believes the idea that the essential purpose of schooling is to develop the powers of intelligence, thinking, knowing, reflecting, observing, imagining, appreciating, questioning, and judging. She explains that there are 3 essential questions that our education system should be addressing. I loved these so much that I want them to be my focus of every class that I'm teaching. If I can answer all of these questions, then I will be successful. They are, what does it mean to be an educated person? What knowledge is of most worth? And are the graduates of our schools or our classroom educated people? If we can adapt these questions and apply them to our individual classes, then we will set up the future generation for success. In closing, Ravitch states, "The school's first purpose is to encourage and guide each person in the cultivation of intelligence and the development of talents, interests, and abilities. Every student needs to know how to form and articulate his own opinion. To do so, he must learn how to read critically, how to evaluate arguments, how to weigh evidence, and how to read judgments on his own. If we apply this mantra to ourselves as individual teachers, instead of simply our school as a whole, I believe we will be highly effective teachers and our students will be successful."